Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. You're at the spot, the place, where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Did you bring your thinking caps? It's time to put them on, because the conversation starts now. All right, good. Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. How are you today? You are at your favorite spot. Yes, my podcast, the place where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Today, we are with Trish Craparotta.
There you go, Craparotta.
Caparotta.
It's Italian.
Yes, I have to roll my tongue for that, and I love Italy. We're going to talk about a lot of good things, fun things, like manifestation, like books, like making your dreams come true with travel, because those are all on my list, and I tick every one of those boxes. And Trish has really been able to bring into fruition her dreams, her goals, but not only that, share that and pour that in to others. So let's welcome her to the show. How are you, Trish?
I am doing fantastic, April. Thank you very much for inviting me on there. You know, our connection was part of that process as well. So I'm just so blessed to have met you at this particular time in my life when this is all happening. So I so appreciate that.
Well, thank you so much. Tell my brains a little bit about where you come from, where you are, and how you show up in the world.
Well, I am from a military family. So both my parents were in the military, and I have four other siblings, and we're all born in different provinces. That's the military route, right? Never stayed in one place more than 2 years, got posted, all of that kind of stuff. But through that, I grew up and in Thunder Bay, where my father finally, went with his parents. So we grew up in Thunder Bay, and then life happens. Like life just happened, and then we all went our separate ways. And you do the right thing. You find a job, you get your education, you do all the things that you're supposed to do that your parents say is the best thing for you. But none of it led to anything that kind of hit me from a passion perspective. It was all just the mechanical things you had to do, but nothing really like satisfied that soul, that empty soul part in me. Until I found a manifestation, which is really what I focus on now, because it was such a huge, such a huge impact on me understanding how my beliefs are not curated by me. They're curated by other people. And when I heard that, I still have goosebumps. When I heard that, I thought, oh my gosh, when you always feel like I'm trapped, how come I'm always doing this, and why do I always end up here, and how am I ever, is this all the life has to be? But when I learned that my beliefs were not my own, then I started to think about, okay, it's time to rewrite the script. And when I started doing that, my entire life completely changed. And I'm also a breast cancer survivor. So I went through a lot as a child. I went through a lot as an adult, trying to figure out life. I was divorced, raising 2 kids on my own. I bought my own house. I was a hairstylist for 38 years, got breast cancer, and that changed everything for me. So my life was really a roller coaster. And there's many times where I thought, is this all I'm supposed to do? Is this all life is meant to do? Until I found that manifestation part where I was able to rewrite my own story and unlock all of this stuff that I have inside of me now that I'm just so passionate about.
Exactly. Well, we're gonna dig deep into that, because I'm a manifester. I've had my own business since I was 5 years old.
Nice.
And manifestation is not just the vision board.
No.
It is a daily ritual. It is a daily practice. It is seeing the outcome before it even comes. You have to look at the outcome as if it is a memory. Exactly. You have to live in that space. If you say that I am a breast cancer survivor and you believe it, you can actually change the molecular structure of your body to enable you to embrace that. Now, I'm not going to step out on a limb and say cure that, because that's not going to happen for everybody in real time. But for the most part, you are what you eat, and you are what you consume, and you are who you hang around. Okay?
I know what you think.
I got a girlfriend that had more money than the law should allow, and ended up losing it. And I asked her, I said, "Oh my God, how are you feeling?" I'm trying to be empathetic, trying to be soft with it. And she's dressed up like brand new money. I said, "Well, where are you going?" She said, "I'm going right back to the place where it all started."
Mhm.
She said, "My dream is not dead." So again, nothing comes to a sleeper but a dream. But you have to dream big and you have to grab hold to that. And I'm so glad, I give you your flowers, that you are a survivor of the big C. But and you were a hairdresser for years. 30 years, you were standing on your feet, girl. That's no joke. And then trying to raise two children.
Yeah.
And you wrote a book. Tell us a little bit about the book and what's inside the pages of the book.
Well, the book is to be released at probably the end of October, beginning November. And the reason for that is because seasons are changing. And I believe the impact of my story is going to have that. Now, inside the book, it is all about how I grew up, like what happened to me as a child through living with two parents that were in the military, two alcoholic parents. So, nothing was safe unless you're outside the house. So escape for me was always important. And then abandoned by my mother when I was 5 years old. All five of us were abandoned by our mother when we were 5 years old. And my dad, who's in the military and now a single dad, raised all five of us. He decided to keep us all together. It wasn't easy, but I tell you, he did the best he could in doing that. But it was rough. It was very rough to kind of get through all of the childhood trauma, living with alcoholics, facing abandonment. How do you get that back together? And so I always thought that my story was going to be my secret, and that's how I lived. Mm-hmm. I'm never going to tell anybody about it because, like, oh my gosh, people don't want to hear about that. When I finally was able to speak some of that out after the manifestation process, I learned, and someone said, "You got to write a book," and I went, no, you got to write a book. You have to get this out. This has to come out now. And I just got chills at thinking, like, okay, because when I survived breast cancer, I just looked up and said, God, if I survive this, I want to be able to give back. And I thought it was going to be within the breast cancer kind of realm, but this is my gift back. To make women understand that through life traumas, if you don't repair that trauma and get past that into the new place you're supposed to be, you'll never ever understand why God created you and what your purpose on this planet is. And for me, that was the breakthrough, to understand that. And I want to be able, through my own words and my own telling, to be able to let other women understand that I'm not a young chick. I'm 64 years old. Okay. Wow, this is coming to me at 64 years old.
You got one hell of a moisturizer, girl. Yes, you do.
Yeah. Collagen. Yes. But I think it's all about where my attitude is. Not like I looked old before, felt old. And since this time, it's just like I feel reborn.
Honestly, I want to dial back on some of the things that you said, because, and again, I like to give people different perspectives. I'm not picking on you, so don't get mad at me.
Oh no, I'm not gonna get mad.
But let's deal with the alcoholism. You had two people that were trained to be killers. And that's what it is. Protect and serve at any cost. I got one here that's retired. That is what they're trained to do ultimately. Yes. Or heal the wound. Yes. That's traumatic. And then your mother being in the military back in that, if you're in your 60s, I know that when she was in the military, it was not a kinder, gentler military. Women were ostracized, disrespected, raped, a whole bunch of other things too. Disrespect, a lot of people, oh, well, she must be less than female if she wants to be in the military, yada, yada. Okay. Yeah. Then your father separated from his family. And then he has to take on 5 children. 5. It's hard enough for one. Mm-hmm. He could have been a coward, but he was a military person. He's a soldier. Yeah. He could have been a coward and said, nope, let him go to Aunt Martha and separate him, but he didn't do that. No. So alcohol was his his comfort. That was the only thing that he
It
could
was both of their
control.
comforts, I think. They,
Yeah.
because
And
I don't think either one of them should have been parents
mm,
until they really discovered that. And that was kind of the shame for me to
right,
understand that. But now that I look back on it,
right,
I understand why they did. Not that it was right, but I
right.
understand why they went that way.
And in defense of your mother, now I can't talk from that perspective because my mother was all that in a bag of chips. But I think your mother was too because she had the courage to leave. A lot of times women get a bad rap. I got friends that have given their custody over to the fathers. The father can raise a child just like the mother. Now, I
Yeah.
don't know exactly what your situation is, but if she had have been there, it could have been more traumatic. She could have severely beat you guys. She could have starved you. She could have, did a
And
whole
funny
lot
you
of
should
things.
say that because my dad was a very passive man. He wasn't aggressive at all. It was my mother. And I didn't realize that until I started healing the memories of that, realizing that she left, which was a good thing because I think that exactly what you said was probably going to happen because we all got our asses whooped by her. Like, and not in a good way, like in a really, like, all that kind of stuff. So when she left, I think that's what she was realizing, that I got to get out of here.
Did you ever reestablish a relationship with her?
Funny you say that. I did.
See,
And voluntarily I did because I wanted to know the story. My dad wouldn't talk about it at all. He never did. And he swore, we're not talking about this anymore. We just kind of moved on with life without doing anything like that. So I, later on in my life, after I had my two children, I really wanted to find this out to kind of heal that wound, right? Like what really happened. I know my dad wasn't the aggressor because I knew that in my heart. I didn't have childhood memories at that point because I blocked everything out. So I met my mom later in life. She had remarried and she was actually living like 2 hours from where I am right now.
mm,
2 hours. The whole time she was living there. And my mom to me was a big, beautiful woman with blonde hair and blue eyeshadow and always decked out. Like she was just always looking really good to just kind of bury what's going on behind her. I believe that's why she did that. But when I met her, she was like this big. Like she was just this
uh,
tiny gray haired woman that was tiny in stature. And my brain just couldn't do it. But my mother used to always cut her nails into a point, always
mm.
like two clippers to a point. The only thing I recognized my mom is I grabbed her hand and I looked at her hand, and that's the only thing that I recognized my mom for because everything else looks so different.
And see, that's also a part of the manifestation brains. Everybody thinks that it's going to be, ice cream and cake.
Oh,
Well, you can manifest things that you really didn't think that were going to happen.
that's
Past
right.
memories, generational trauma,
Yep.
negativity,
Yep.
um, disease.
Yep.
So you have to be careful with what we call mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Mindset is a gauge that needs to be changed. And you
Yep.
need to be conscious. Stay conscious, stay aware, stay in the present.
Yep.
I'm really into Joe Dispenza. My husband goes, could you get him out of the bed with us at night? I'm listening to my nightly meditation, but also Mind Valley. But again, is if whatever the mind can conceive, you can achieve good, bad,
Exactly.
and different. And so I am glad that you had the courage, because it took courage to go and face your mother and not sock her in the throat for
No,
leaving.
although it was a very estranged relationship because I didn't know my mother. Like I had no connection with her at all. And then we built a relationship around that.
Right,
First question I asked her was, why did you leave? And she said, I left because your dad beat me. And
right.
I knew in my heart of hearts that that was not the case because I witnessed her stabbing my dad with a fork several times. And she was always the one with the mouth. She was always the one with the whip. She was always the one with the chain. And my dad was never ever like that. So she left us in a safe place. I believe that. But I wanted to hear those words from her. And even at the age of, she was 60, about my age when I met her. She's no longer
Do
with
you think
us.
that she was lying? Now, and
Yeah,
I'm
yes,
not judging your
well,
father.
here's the thing. I don't know if she was lying. I don't think she, like the rest of my family, can face the truth. I just wanted her to tell me the truth. In my heart of hearts, I knew that he was not the aggressor. I know that she was, because there's a letter later to me that she wrote to me as a child when I was born. I'm not going to go into that letter, but it was severely destructive to my entire life. Like, what mother would write a letter to the child she just gave birth to in that format? So I know my mother needed to say what she said. But you know what? I just said, I don't know how long she's going to be with me, and I don't want to build a relationship around that. So we built a relationship around that.
So take it back a generation. What was she subjected to? Do you know? Did you know your grandparents?
Well, yeah, I knew her mom. I knew her cousins. I didn't know much about her family. Her dad wasn't around at the time, but it was a tough life. They were Newfoundlanders, right? She lived in Newfoundland. My dad was from Finland. So when his parents came over and they were in the military, they met. Otherwise, they would have never met. So, but she was raised in a house full of 14 children, and a father who was an alcoholic as well, too, and a mother who was absolutely divine. Her mother was absolutely a divine mother that did the same thing that I would do. And I think she learned traits from her dad more than she learned from her mom. Mm-hmm. But I don't know what she was subject to particularly.
With 14 kids, there's a hell of a pecking order.
Oh, is it ever, right? And she was the third youngest.
Yeah. So there's a lot there. There's a lot to unpack.
Lots I don't know. Like, there's spaces I don't know in her story either.
But I'm glad that you, again, took the time and cared enough, not for your mother, not for your father, but for yourself and for the next generation, for your two children.
Exactly.
Because we have to break that cycle of abuse. And the only way that we can do it is own your shit, brains.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's simple as that. You have to own it. There was somebody that was that said something to me that I really didn't like. A family member, you know, she gonna try to attack me. And you know what I did? I told her I own it. I'm that and then some. Okay. Because I know who I am. I have standards. I have expectations, but those are mine. And again, if you don't want to dance to the music, don't put the money in the jukebox.
And you know what? That when you mention that, I own that. It's about finding your voice again. Like, the book is about finding your voice again as well, too, that we get lost in, our voice gets lost in all the roles we play, all the hats we wear. And we are trying to nurture, what do they need rather than what do I need? We keep asking, what do they need rather? And then you come to a point where your kids are gone, things have happened there, and you go like, what now? Like, honestly, what now? So you're owning it. I love that, because that's where I'm at right now. Yeah. I'm not sugarcoating anything. If I don't like it, I'm going to tell you. And that's because I've earned that right to do that. Through all of 60, that, right?
When I woke up at 60, I looked in the mirror and I said, you know what, April? At this point, you got a lot more years behind you than you have in front of you. Mm-hmm. And so now it's important on how I process it. That doesn't mean being unapologetic doesn't mean being rude and disrespectful.
No.
But it is being aware, being conscious, and owning it.
That's right.
If that is, and making corrective action. Just because you own something, this is what you're exuding to the world. Is this how you want to be seen? Is this how you want to be represented? If it is, keep going the same course. But if not, this is an opportunity for you to pump your brakes and say, you know what? Let me look under the hood. Let me see really what are the mechanics of this. I call my own machine, my own momentum.
That's
How
right.
am I moving in the world? How is this impacting my friends, my family? What is the legacy that I'm leaving? So, it's deep. It's really deep.
Well, you get to know who you are and what you own, so that when you're faced with situations and the wrong opportunities, you're just going to go like that. Mm-hmm. Like, rather than going like, all of that, you just know exactly what your direction is and what you're not going to tolerate anymore. And that's kind of, going through that process that's what you learn is like, I'm just not going to tolerate that anymore.
But it's also living the imposter syndrome and not being seen.
That's right.
That's what people want now. They want to be seen. But what are people looking at when they look at you?
Right, exactly, right.
What do they see? And people,
Yeah,
oh, I don't care what somebody thinks. Well, I care.
I
I
do too.
care.
I
Now,
do.
if I am going to buy into it, that's another thing. If I'm going to change it, that's another thing. Because I don't live the imposter syndrome. When you
No,
meet me, you don't get my representative. You get me 100%. It's a difference between being 100% and being authentic.
that's right.
Because sometimes I can't be authentic with myself. Sometimes I do mirror work or I do shadow work, and I'm like, damn it, who was that?
Exactly. I know, right? You're going like, okay, something's not right here, and then you discover what's not right. Go, oh no.
Right.
But
Or,
that's the joy of knowing that there's something there that you can work with to kind of correct that. So you don't have to live with that and own that I call it yuck.
yeah,
You just get like just go, it's just not even here. It's just such
but
a refreshing way to live.
also rewarding and recognizing and believing in the possibility of who you can be,
That's right.
seeing who you are, patting yourself on the back, not waiting for outside influences.
Nope.
Changing your eyewear. You and I both love some eyewear.
I love it. I love eyewear. Yeah, that's where my boldness
Exactly.
is right there.
And being bold,
That's right. Yeah.
being bold. And that takes courage. So when you consciously uncoupled and you got your divorce, I'm sure that triggered some things in your past.
I remember I heard my mother's voice going like, you made your bed, you now have to lie in it.
Hmm.
And I remembered that. I never wanted to get divorced, but it took 23 years for me to pull the trigger. But that's what I heard in my head going like,
And you looked
I
yourself
didn't
in
want to
the
be my
mirror.
mother.
Okay, but you looked yourself in the mirror and there was a new person there. What did you say to Trish?
It was scary. It was a scary person because I'm going like, okay, okay. Like I got rid of most of my stress by divorcing my husband because he was alcoholic and abusive, not physically, but mentally, which was worse. And when that space was gone, when that disappeared, I looked at myself and going like, I don't even know who I am now. What is my permission? I going like, what do I do? I don't even know what my purpose is. And then I thought, well, I'm going to find out. And you know what? I've never been angry a day in my life because I never wanted to. My mother always said, be good, stay quiet, don't fuss about anything, say yes even when you want to scream no, that kind of stuff. And I just looked in the mirror and screamed at myself. And I thought, I have never been angry before, but this is going to go off the charts for a while before I realize how to roll it in. But I gave myself permission to feel whatever it was I was feeling and to do whatever else I need to do that felt weird until I found out who I was from an identity perspective, other than a mom and a wife and all of those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like mind blowing. It took me 5 years to do that.
Do you drink?
Yeah, occasionally, yeah. I married an Italian, so we have a glass of wine at night
So you
with
so
dinner
you don't
every now and then. Yeah.
you don't get liquored up?
Nope.
I drink.
Funny because I am the only one out of all of our siblings that never went that way.
Your other siblings drink a lot?
Yeah, or they do over the counter kind of medication, self-medication that way. All my siblings are still way back there. They've never corrected their course. They're still stuck back there. So we have very little time together because that's one thing I had to do is divorce my family because in my thinking of healing myself and moving forward, I couldn't be sucked back into that.
Wow.
And I wasn't about to be that, but
yeah.
Yeah, they all took the whole.
And I asked that because you said that you fell into that addictive pattern, not you, but you were with a person that was an alcoholic.
A codependency.
Mm-hmm.
I felt more codependent.
And that's
trying to fix it than trying to fall into that. I didn't want to be what he was like.
Right, but
I grew up with that. I married it. I'm going like, oh gosh.
But the codependency can be equally, not if not more so, the actual person that's doing the drinking. Because you're making excuses and you are.
That's the only thing I didn't do.
Behavior. Yeah.
I did all the behavior, but I never did that.
So yeah, I know. I drink a little bit too. It's not my thing. I like to be within myself. Now I will throw back, some good tequila or some good cognac.
Sure, yeah,
I
absolutely,
get
yeah.
loose, but for the most part, to live in that space, it's very difficult. And it's very
Well, I'm
I
reminded
think
every day about what it was like to live in that, and I don't want to ever be there.
and I'm really there's a stigma on women more so.
Yep,
Oh no, she's a mother and she can't do this and she can't do this and and all that. So it's tough. It's a tough
it
road.
is tough. Yeah, it is
So
tough.
do you have the book there with you or is it
I
at
don't. It's not.
the
It's not published. It was going to be published beginning of September or middle of September. We had to change the timeline because of the way I wrote it. I needed to change a few things. So because October, November are a change in season, I said let's release it then, and then we can have it for Black Friday, whatever. So I don't have the book yet. It's
All
still
right.
almost.
Well,
I got 2 more chapters to do, and then it's going in for the rewrite and all that kind of stuff, and then we will be looking at publishing it towards the end of October.
I want you to come back because I want you to read an excerpt. I want to hear.
I would love to.
I want to
Honestly,
hear your voice. I
I
really do.
love our connection, and I would love to come back and do that. But you
So
know what?
let's jump full throttle into this travel thing.
Yeah, let's go there.
Now, Brains, let me tell you, I am a jet setter. I love to go somewhere. Me and my husband was just talking about the last 3 years. I forgot everywhere that I had been. I had to go back and look because I had been so many places.
Oh, that's good.
But to travel, you can travel without leaving your home. You can
Absolutely, you
travel
can.
through books, through pictures,
That's
through
right.
social media, through music. Travel is in your mind, what you remember. Thank God for memories.
Yes,
God
yes.
for photographs, and then to have the ability and the luxury to go to other places, other countries, other people, immerse yourself in something outside of yourself, something that is bigger and greater. I know
Exactly.
people, I'm from South Central LA. I know people still staying at their mama house. They
Yeah.
have not
Well, it's
traveled
no different here
beyond.
either, but we tend to kind of go like, here's your keys to the new apartment that you're going to go to now. So there you go.
Right, that apartment that's across the street from our house.
Right.
And so, tell us a little bit about, your experience, what you're doing in that area, the zone of genius, and how people can even, make some residual income.
Yeah, this is really crazy because my very first, like my ex and I never traveled. He didn't, we never had money. All those excuses that an alcoholic makes because they want to drink it, I can't do that. And then the first time we traveled, I booked it to try and save my marriage. Okay, but we took our 2 kids with it, and none of us had been south. So we went to Mexico, mine Riviera, and honestly, it was the most exhilarating experience I ever had, regardless of what I was trying to do. I forgot I was trying to save my marriage and I got immersed in what I was seeing. So I saw the ocean, but I thought it was a pool. And I said to the kids, oh, let's go see the pool. Look how blue it is. And when I got to the ocean and saw how blue that water was, it was like that. That still impacts me from a good place because I thought, okay, and that whole week we were down there, regardless how miserable my ex was, my kids and I just had the best time ever, reconnecting again, exploring, learning other cultures, enjoying the food and all that. And I said after that, we are never ever not going another 10 years without traveling. And I've been traveling every year since with the kids. And now they're traveling to like um, Seoul, South Korea, all kinds of places. They're just, so they got that from me. And we all remember that first trip that we took.
Mhm.
And so when like everybody wants to travel right now, but it's super stupid expensive. Okay. It's expensive. The airlines, whatnot, you got to book through a travel agent that isn't always the right thing. So I have found a way that to make residual income as I travel. So this particular travel membership allows me to travel with maximum discounts on hotels and ground transportation and all of that and earn travel points back that I can then apply for my next trip. It just keeps rewarding you over and over and over again. And when I looked at the business side of this, I thought, okay, I can finance my book through this.
Mm.
I can finance the publishing of my book through this opportunity. Again, I'm 64. Okay,
Right.
I'm just a dreamer from little girl, but I thought, okay, this is a really fun way to do that. So
So, Brains, what I want you to do is I'm going to put all of Trisha's information at the back of the interview. And if you want more information on that, definitely connect with her.
Absolutely. Because you know, it's one of the most amazing things that you can do for your soul. For me, it was a healing process. And I realized that that first trip we took, even though it didn't save my marriage, thank goodness, because I'm married to the man of my dreams right now, that, and we travel all the time, that I realized that that was a healing thing for me. And it still is. Every time I visit a different location and try different food and learn from other culture, you realize that you are just like a little drop in the bucket. Like there's a whole world out there that you
It's
can
the ah,
experience.
it's the
Oh my
ah and
gosh.
the wow factor. Oh,
And even just going like to like another city, you don't even have to,
another
go
city.
far.
Get in the car.
Still
Get on the bus. How about
get
that bus?
on the bus, get on the plane, get on everything and do the thing.
Get on
Because
the
it's
train.
just, it's
We've got
good
beautiful.
for your soul.
We don't have the rails that we have in Europe or in Asia that they have there.
Right. We
But
don't
get
either.
on the train and go from San Diego to Santa Barbara. It's just and for your children.
Yes, give
Allow
them
your children to
experience.
know that there is a bigger world out there. You
Yeah, they
will
have
be
to understand.
surprised at how they will be more calm, they will be more respectful, they'll
Yes.
be more pleasant. I know my daughter was having a challenge in school. She was young, and it was before that we realized that she had a reading challenge. But I took her to Jamaica, and she saw those little girls that had pristine, crisply pressed uniforms, white lace socks, black shoes, and they walked. They walked 2 miles there
Oh
and
yeah.
2 miles back. They were happy, they were singing because
Yep.
they had the ability to learn and to go to school.
That's
When
right.
she came back, like magic. She was so happy to go to school. She was so happy to be there with her classmates. We realized, she says, Mommy, I'm having a problem. I don't understand what it is. It's like the Tweety birds are going around in my head. Come to find out that she needed glasses.
Oh
She
wow.
needed glasses and she could see. And when we figured that out and, gave her some tutoring, she's stellar.
What a gift. What a
Oh,
gift you give her.
really? And you don't really realize where your gifts are going to come from.
Yeah.
You really don't.
No.
So let's ask you some other fun questions before we
Okay.
conclude our interview, because you shared your heart with us, and I really appreciate the clear path method.
Yep.
If you were to take a different path, where would it lead you?
A different path than I have now.
Yeah, than you are now. If you were to take another career, or if you were to maybe take another trip, where's your destiny? Where are you headed?
Well, right now my destination is like Europe and Greece and whatnot that I've always had a dream to go to Europe. It's
Other
been on
girl.
my bucket list for so long. Greece, Italy, Rome. If
Woo!
I go to the grave, just getting that in there,
Mm.
my life will be complete. Only because it reminds me of peace and culture and like all those things that you read in a book, like you said. Like
Right.
I'm a reader, like I'm a big reader, and I like my imagination. So when I,
Go
you
to
know,
Europe, it's different because they're not, Canadians are real friendly. People in, California are real friendly. They're friendly in a different kind of way. They're friendly
yeah,
with eye contact,
eye
the
contact,
nod and
yeah.
all that kind of stuff. But hey, how you doing? No, they don't do that. And let me tell you, you are going to eat yourself into the abyss. Oh
Oh, I
my God.
shall. But all the fresh, like the fresh
Oh,
food, like to not have to refrigerate anything, just go every day to shop, like
every
that's
day to
my dream.
shop. Every day to shop. I bit into a peach and the juice just ran down my face. And you'll go in and they'll cut you a piece of cheese and salami and oh, you're gonna love it. So I can't wait for you to get
And
there.
that's why I married an Italian. See, now he's my interpreter. So this is all laid out for me here. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, a manifestation.
Ah, yes.
If you were an appliance in the kitchen, Trish, what appliance would you be?
I'd be a stove
Ooh.
because I created more recipes that changed my palate on a stove when I was recovering from breast cancer.
Mm.
That appliance I would never ever be without because that's my creative part. That you can make anything for anybody, and feeding people is another of my
Yeah.
love languages. Feeding people and travel are two of my love languages. but I'd be stove.
Probably today, because I change from day to day. Today, I'd probably be the tea kettle
And why is that?
because it's hot and steamy, and I like to whistle. If you were a flower in the garden, what flower would you be?
Be a rose. A
Mm.
rose. They're very finicky based on what the roots need, so lots of nourishment. But if you treat them right and give them the right food, they'll forever, ever bless your heart.
Mm-hmm.
My son and my daughter-in-law have this beautiful big rose bush that is absolutely, we made rose tea from it, all that kind of stuff. But a rose is the most difficult thing to grow. But if you figure it out,
Mm-hmm.
it'll forever, ever bless you.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you could time travel,
And that's my favorite flower too. My husband always gets me roses. So there you go.
if you could time travel, go back to the past, project to the future, stay here in the present, where would you land?
Ooh, I think I think it would land right here. Like, I think this is where I'm supposed to be. I have such peace and joy in my heart and in my home that I never ever experienced as a child or an adult until I remarried and met the man of my life that just kind of fixed, but just healed all those wounds for me.
Mm.
So if I was going to time travel, I wouldn't go backwards because it was difficult and I don't think I could fix anything back there. I wouldn't go forward yet because I want that to be a surprise. But I think I would land right here because it's given me so many blessings right now that and so many open doors and opportunities that this is where I'm meant to be.
You're one of the few people that are with me because all we have is the present. That's all that we have.
That's right. That's right.
And I don't want to go back to try to rewrite history because if I go back and rewrite history, my present wouldn't be what it is right now. My future would not be what it is supposed to be.
That's right.
That is supposed to be the dream. That is supposed to be the gift. That is supposed to be the anticipation. So yeah, thank you. I'm so glad that you're here with me right now.
I'm
And in closing, what do you want your legacy to be? How do you want to be remembered?
I just want to be remembered as that person that had an impact, even though I had a difficult life and difficult situations, but I had the courage to write it on paper and share it with other people to help them move forward as well too. And the legacy is that I hope that it heals the wounds that other people are carrying as well. The legacy I want to live is my children will learn the story behind me. They know little bits, but they don't know everything. But when you write a book and you're no longer here, that book still keeps going.
Right.
So those words in that book are going to be here long before I am here. And I believe that that's a legacy that will continue to heal other women or give other women an understanding that they have ways to correct their situation that they're in or alter their course of where they're at just by asking.
That's right. So tell my brains how to get in contact with you, how to work with you, and look forward to the book if they want information.
Yeah, just stay in. If you want to be on the wait list for the book, just contact me on Facebook. It's Trish Craparotta. I'll spell it Craparotta. And again, April will put all that in there. I'm on Facebook most of the time. That's where I live. The Instagram that I have is just Trish_Craparotta, and that's going to be used for the launch of my book. So it's still kind of sporadic over there, but I'm on Facebook. I'm pretty open there, and all my good stuff is on there. So, and if you want to just message me or you want to email me, you can do that as well.
She's got some great little clips that she shows, and when she's meeting with some of her travel partners, she really has a very interesting page. So I want you to go in. I want you to love, like, share, and subscribe. Love, like, share, and subscribe. That's your homework. Do something for yourself. Get on the bus, go for a long walk, call a friend.
Down by the water. Go down by the water and put your feet in the water. Grounding with Mother Earth is really, really powerful, especially when you got your feet in the water.
Absolutely. And so, but just don't go too far where you drown.
Yeah, just stick your toes in it. That's it.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Trish, for being here on the edge with us. We look forward to the release of that book and all
Yeah.
the great things. And thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your life and your journey with us.
Thanks, April. It's easier for me to do this now after everything that I've done to heal that. But I really appreciate connecting with you because, you know, when you connect with someone, it's just like magical. This girl is magical. Like we just connect very well. And we will be talking about when the book is released. We'll come back on and give you a chance to get the book.
Yeah, because I want to hear it. I want to hear it. All right.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, April, for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Brains, be good to yourself. Okay. Don't wait on us.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.